I'm Rob Kellogg, and today we're going to talk about infection control. Now, there are times when you go out into the job site that you are going to have some kind of physical compromise into your body structure, whether it's through the skin, through the air, something that you ingest. These are some things that we need to take concern about and do a preventative mechanism after that exposure occurs, or take preemptive actions and prevent that from becoming an issue altogether. So one of the primary things we need to talk about is, let's just say, a laceration or a cut infection. Now, these are pretty common. Excuse me. First and foremost, you should always wash that surface with soap and water. Get it normally clean as you would on an everyday activity, and flush that out with water. And then you want to come back in with a triple antibiotic ointment, and this is just something you can find in your first aid kits. I carry it with me everywhere I go. For some reason, I'm just naturally klutzy. I'm not real sure, but I do get nicks and cuts on a regular basis. I don't want those to go more than a few minutes without getting some kind of care to them, so that way it doesn't accelerate later and become an infection. And we've all felt that probably before. So if you've got any kind of small cut and you didn't think about it, it's like, meh, it's just a little cut, like a paper cut even. And we come back and the very next day, it's like, man, that is sore to the touch. And it's a little inflated. It's a little red and raised. That's infection. And that's the beginning of a potential dangerous situation. Like, you can get as bad as staph infection with a very simple cut or scrape. So to avoid these issues, it's real important for you to make sure that you take care of those lacerations, those cuts and scrapes. Even those scrapes can cause that to happen. We need to get that triple antibiotic ointment on there and put some kind of covering to help it stay on. And then you can remove that after about 6 hours and you should be fine. But if it's deeper than the average cut, you might want to look at the stitching need. And then you can look at the other video, do I need stitches, to identify if that's the case. So with a compromise to our skin, that's the best way to take care of it and prevent that from getting worse on down the road. There's no big tough guys around here, okay? A lot of us think that, cuts are just part of the job. Well, yes and no. They may be part of the job, but they are compromising. And if you could see under a microscope what you guys work at every day, you'd come in a body condom. I'm serious. There's some nasty, nasty stuff out there. So keeping clean, especially when you compromise your skin, is extremely important. So as we get into ingestion, we're starting to swallow these kinds of issues. Bacteria, viruses, like the flu. You can get that through contact. And in the cold and flu season, which usually runs between late fall into spring, that can be a problem, and we have to be very mindful to kind of watch our hygiene a little bit, especially when we eat. That's where you say, you should wash your hands before you eat. That's the reason why. So if you've been touching a lot of things and you've got a lot of people working on the job site and they're snotting and hacking and coughing all over the place, these germs spread pretty fast if you don't keep those controls in place. So by going to the restroom and hygiene places and getting that clean before you put that sandwich in your hand, which is going into your mouth and then into your digestive system, it's probably a good idea to take those precautions. So just as a friendly note, take these extra steps, especially during those seasons where you're more prevalent to get those exposures, is a good idea. Airborne sneezing from an infection, a viral infection. One of the things that you need to do is, one, cover your mouth when you do those exhales. Great way to do that, obviously, is with your sleeve. And they're teaching kids today, just cough into your elbow, sneeze into your elbow, because what happens when you sneeze into your hands? But now you're touching other things and you're spreading whatever it is that you coughed out that you didn't like. Now you're giving it to the environment and anybody else who happens to come along and touch that same surface. So it's real important to control that by utilizing good hygiene practices and in any expulsions, coughing or sneezing. Definitely do the cover up. Make sure you put it into your elbow, and that helps prevent that from spreading out. And then when you go in to wash your hands, make sure you're washing the areas in which you're sneezing into as well. So, and that helps prevent that spread. So less likelihood we're going to get it ourselves, and even worse yet, the purpose of why we're working for in the first place, and that's our family. We want to prevent bringing that back to them. We all know that the kids go to school and they just cough and sneeze and wallow around each other and they bring home the stuff. Let's try to prevent that from transitioning out to the job site and spreading it that way, and vice versa. Bring it home, give it to the kids, take it to school, and they spread the love everywhere as well. So these little mechanisms that we can take into place help prevent those issues. So remember, take care of yourself. Make sure you watch out for the differences in your disposition and your health, and take the countermeasures accordingly to the incidents in which you're exposed to. So if you have any questions or concerns, as always, please give me a call here at Ultimate Group. We're here to help you in any way we can. So with that, remember, safety is not a mindset, it's a state of mind. Have a good day.